Two unemployed actors, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome to the very first podcast of Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we're going to struggle through our first and have a lot of fun on the way. And you've already missed 10 minutes of amazing tech run where we managed to get everything upside down, inside out. But hey, if you can hear this, it's working well. And if you want to see this on the YouTube channel, it'll be up and live at the same time on all the amazing best podcast platforms you can find. And follow us on social media. And that's about all I got for intro. How's that?
Sounds good.
We're here now.
Yeah.
First thing I want to say, how ironic that we've had to push back the launch of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been busy working.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy.
We were two employed actors for a little bit. We're back to the unemployed. That works well.
Exactly. I had 3 acting gigs in the last few weeks. Not ones that required a whole lot of prep. There wasn't a lot of lines, and it was a shoot fast. How do you go with self-tapes? Have you had to do any self-tapes?
Oh,
recently? When you're alone in a room with a camera, and it sounds really weird to everyone who's not an actor.
No, I don't know. But some people prefer self-tapes because they haven't got the stress of going to an audition room, meet all the other, people applying, being like, oh my god. Yeah. But, I don't know. I feel like because there is that adrenaline that's pumping through you during an actual audition in front of a director and casting agent and all that, it helps you with the scene. And I don't know, I personally prefer actual auditions. Self-tapes are weird because you're like your mum or your partner or whatever, just sit behind camera reading lines.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. Yeah, I like them because you can do as many takes as you need.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't like because you don't get that feedback you get when you're actually in the audition room and they say, well, actually, can you do it, this way?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, that's how they can see it. All right.
Yeah. But it's also like a black hole, though, self-tapes, because you can keep going, keep going, and
knowing when to stop.
overthinking.
Even the editing, sometimes I'd send different ways of doing the scene. I'd like 3 or 4, and I'd edit them really tight back to back. So as soon as I finish the first, it goes to the next take and the next take, just to give them options.
Yeah. I still self-tape with, my iPhone, blue tack behind on a stack of books on my keyboard with my white cupboard in the background.
Yeah.
That's how I do self-tapes.
That's it. That's our studio.
Yeah.
And you take it on the road too, and it's like if you're in a hotel room, same thing. Yeah. I had to do one recently. It was just a small, 50-worder. First of all, the agent sent me this message going, can you do an Irish accent? No, but I'll try. After a while on YouTube, I gave it a nudge, and I have to say, I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, good.
And my girlfriend saw it, and Emma's just gone, don't.
Ever do
She's like, have you
again?
sent that? Did you send that? I'm like, well, yeah. She's like,
confidence boost. Right.
Don't ever, don't play that to anyone, ever. I'm like, oh no. The next day, I get this email. Could you do a Puerto Rican accent?
No way. Well, from your agent.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, they must have liked the Irish, or not, I don't know, but they're coming at me with Puerto Rican, which, no, I can't do a Puerto Rican accent.
Didn't like
and
the
I'm like, hang on.
That's why they wanted you to try Puerto Rican.
Which, if you can't do an Irish accent, wouldn't that be the next one to go to?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Irish accent was one thing, and my confidence is shot, but now it's Puerto Rican. Where do I start? Is it Puerto Rican, knowing the audience is American, so maybe it's standard American with a Hispanic sort of, a little to the accent. No, it's a Puerto Rican in Puerto Rico speaking English, but with a Puerto Rican accent. I'm like, oh, that's it. YouTube's just told me there's no way we can find this for you. You're on your own.
It's not a thing that exists.
I still don't know what came to me when I was doing the self-tape. I don't know what. I don't even know if I could understand what I was saying.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand half the stuff. I'm like, I went to edit it and I'm like, that's not good. Oh God.
And this is for a voiceover, right?
No. This was for
a
scene playing a Puerto Rican drug dealer who says a few lines, got a handful of lines in a couple of different scenes. Got the part. I'm like, for real. I still don't. The next challenge was trying to do what I was doing in the self-tape on set consistently from scene to scene. I don't even know what the hell.
What was this for? Was
it was for a TV show, one of those reenactment ones. I'm like, okay, it has to be Puerto Rican. There's no way I can change it. I've just got to try and take the best bits from the self-tape.
Yeah.
And just try and remember that. Maybe have a few triggers to get that.
Yeah.
And it worked out okay. No one actually came up and go, look, just a quiet note. We can't actually understand what the hell you're saying. No one said that. No one looked at me funny.
They put subtitles.
As far as I know, I haven't been cut from it, so
Have you seen it yet?
or dubbed. No,
No.
it was only a few weeks ago. But I'm like, you know, a way to add another dimension to doing a self-tape. It's like, you know, all this money I spent trying to do standard American,
Oh my god.
and I'm traveling as a Puerto Rican and
Yeah.
Irish, and not very well. But anyway, I chose not to show Emma that self-tape of the Puerto Rican.
Because you didn't want her feedback again.
I actually didn't want. I actively avoided her feedback. So yeah, no self-tapes, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It's great when they work and I get a role, but then it's not like you can say, oh, well, that worked well, I'll do that next time I do a self-tape, and that's going to work every time. Cause,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, your agents should be the ones that put you forward for roles that you suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you suited it, I mean, you got the parts, so that's pretty good.
yeah, I'd worked with a production company before, and they sort of said, can Max do an Irish accent?
Mm.
And then can Max do a Puerto Rican accent, which is probably the way of saying Max can't do an Irish accent, and we'll take what we can get because we're pushed for time on Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I've got
That's
something out of it for the agent, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Another one I did recently was, which is another reason why I pushed back another week, was with a learning channel, and it was doing a medical scene where it was about paperwork, correct paperwork in an aged care facility. With these learning shoots, like even though it's non-broadcast, you're stressing because you can't put a word out of place. This is the opposite of on-set daily women. This is if you mix up these words, it could mean that the nurses who are watching this or the doctors who are watching this think that it's okay to say this or write this down.
Yeah.
And you've always got someone in the corner with reading the script word for word going, that's not right, that's not right. Just like it's a big budget flick, you know. But it's not, because they're shooting real quick. Like my call time is generally the time they want me on set. So it's like, I'll get there 50 minutes early and I'm just in time sort of thing still. Because they're like, okay, let's go. It's like 5 minutes to call time. We're going, and then they're all set ready to go.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, I turned up. It's like, we're going to get you walking in. We're just going to shoot the master first, get you walking in. We're going to see how it unfolds, then we'll organise how we're going to do close-ups. Brilliant. No worries. Awesome. Except when I started talking. And they're like, wait, no, that's not the line. In my mind, I'm freaking out going, what have I done? I've just gone and memorised some random script? I don't think so. Like, come on. I don't think I'm that stupid, although I wouldn't put it past me.
Yeah.
So the first thing I said was, can I see the script? And I looked at it and I'm like, it's a different version, completely different version to what they sent me.
Oh my god. And they didn't send you an updated version?
No. Look, sometimes that happens and they're making up.
Yeah.
They're finalising the line just before, and that's okay because you take a couple of minutes, and you get the lines. It wasn't heavily intensive, but it was 5 minutes of trying to get this scene right, and then I'm just sounding like an absolute idiot because I'm like, oh wait, can I have a line? I'm calling for lines, and I've only got like 4 because I don't want to get the words mixed up because it could mean something completely different. It just felt really strange because it was not off to the sort of start that I would have wanted, right?
Yeah.
So the first scene was a bit rocky. But then I've like, can I copy the script? I've grabbed the script. I'm like, I've got everything down for the rest of the day. So then I could focus on things like one scene was getting this guy ready for a shower. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll stop you there. What do you mean when you say getting this patient ready for a shower? What does that mean? Like, I'm not in the shower? Like, what the?
There's a different set of
what sort of show is the? Yeah,
set of
wasn't in the contract. No, you're actually walking in as a nurse, and aged care nurse, and you've got to convince this guy that's time to have a shower, he's going to get aggro, and you're going to have to leave the situation. And I could see the director wording something to him like, they're going to set me up. There's going to be he's going to be throwing feces at me, or needles, or whatever aged care people do to nurses. I don't know. My imagination, right? So I've turned up, and I'm like, we've started the scene, and straight away it's cut. I'm like, what? I took 3 steps.
Yeah.
But I'm holding the towels against my body. In aged care, you have to, for hygiene, you have to hold them away from your body. I'm already teaching these people bad habits and haven't even set a line. I've walked in, we're rolling again, and this guy just starts screaming, and he's off script now. He's just lost it. He's yelling, and I'm not going to get in the
He's
shower.
not even an actor. They just got him from the actual...
He might have been, because there was a SAM company that runs aged care facilities. I don't know. And anyway, he was just screaming out like this. I'm just like, I've had this... Apparently the look was brilliant, because I turned, and it was shock, and a bit of surprise, and a bit of, okay, well now how do I get out of this? So I just turned and literally walked out fast and saying, no, just like Crocodile Dundee with the bull, you have to maintain eye contact and walk backwards while trying to exit from an aggravated patient. Don't turn your back on aged care patients. I'm like, okay, good to know.
They're dangerous.
Finally, we did it the second time, and they had to get him to say 2 key words because the 2 key words was what I typed in as a nurse in the next scene.
Okay.
So they had to get him to say that, and of course he's yelling abuse at me and saying anything but the 2 words that were needed for me to go, yeah, it was aggravated, he said blah blah blah.
Oh my god.
So it went on for a while I was copping abuse, and at least I had the towel thing right, I was walking out of the scene right, but I'm like, you know, and I had the lines down finally. Looked like such a rookie on the first scene.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of, you know, when the scene goes quiet, everyone in the room just goes really quiet, and he's asking for a line. It's like, oh no, it's going to be a long day.
Oh no.
Everyone's just like, and they're trying not to look at you, and it's a bit uncomfortable, and you can say, it's a different version. And I'm sure I said different version loud enough for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
But I'm a solutions guy, right? Because I want to stay employed, so
Yeah.
just sucked it up and
Well,
said
we're
it.
unemployed. As well.
Technically today, yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm in between projects.
Every second Tuesday we're on.
It's so true.
Exactly. Till they're doing a project, they're always in between projects. Even the big ones.
I feel really good now. This is good, at least for my motivation.
You've done a lot of screen stuff. I've done a lot of theatre as well. Like, have you done much theatre?
Back in the 90s was when I was doing acting. Okay, we're talking featured extra stuff. So wandering around, interacting with the cast. I was on the Gold Coast and didn't really take acting that seriously. And I just thought it was normal to be busy as a featured extra because all the sound stations are booked out.
Yeah.
And you're wandering around, you're doing everything but saying lines. You know, they'll tell you to stand here, do this, do that, whatever. Okay, it's fine. And then went the corporate way. So there's 20 years of corporate and hiding my emotions. So I only came back to it about a year and a half ago. And I did a few workshops. In Sydney, Anthony Brandon Wong was an amazing workshop of really getting rid of shaking me out of the corporate mindset.
Okay.
20 years of hiding your emotions, it's not going to help you on set. And that will help really well to put me in touch with it and go, okay, I still feel comfortable. I still think I can do this. And even the first few jobs I had through the agent, I'm like, look, let's just do extra work just to make sure I'm comfortable on set. And sure enough, that happened. It was great. 4 jobs. Then on the acting side, away we go. But still not sure about stage.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was never a big part of my experience.
Yeah, even in the 90s.
No, I have to go back to school when I was enjoying being on stage.
Yeah.
And that was even in double accounting when I was making jokes. But hey, I'll take that. But yeah, so I knew I enjoyed it. And I love that vibe that you get immediately from the audience.
It's very different to screen. You've got the audience in front of you. They're there. You can feed off them. With screen, you've got the camera. And that's it. But that's, the audience is through there, but you can't see them.
Yeah.
But you feed off the audience, it's a whole different feeling, it's almost like, I guess voiceovers are very different to acting in front of camera, of course. Completely different ball games.
Yeah.
But they're so much fun. That's how I got into acting. Like,
right.
I originally, like behind the scenes sort of stuff. I loved all the lighting and sound and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I auditioned for my first production when I was 12. It absolutely changed my life, and that was awesome. And
Seriously? So you knew right away?
I was like, oh, this is awesome. Oh my god, I got this part. Keep in mind,
you didn't spend 5 years just wandering around sets, and then 20 years in corporate, and then nice.
Yeah, I spent my whole life.
You actually knew right away, I'm going to do this.
Exactly. Well, I was one of the lucky ones. I'm very lucky to know what I want to do. Yeah, so I got in, and keep in mind, it was a German soldier, so I looked 5 at the age of 12. So it was really funny. I was wearing a big jacket, way too big on me, tried to pull off this German accent, never done one before in my life. And so that was great. But I was on stage, and the feeling I got in front of an audience completely changed my life. I didn't go back to behind the scenes as much as I love learning about all that stuff.
Well, it's good to have a knowledge of what happens behind the scenes, how everything works.
Yeah,
how you as a team pull off a production.
Even with opening night, I walk through this faux door, big wooden door, and slam my hand straight in the door.
First
night, opening night, I meant to slam it, get really angry, blah blah blah.
You idiot.
Yeah.
Are you normally unco, or just when there's an audience?
No, it's only when I'm 12 years old.
Oh, I forgot, you are 12. I won't be too hard.
I'm 12 here. Look 5 though, and my mind's probably 2. So I would walk through this door, slam my hand in it, and it was cut along the
So you're
knuckles.
bleeding.
I was bleeding. It wasn't dripping with blood on the
Turn
stage.
around from the door and just spray the audience in the front row.
This is part of it. Yeah. I mean, punch through it. Adrenaline helped to numb the pain until I got off. And then it was friggin' painful, hand shaking. But I was meant to be angry, so it worked for the character, you know, like method acting sort of thing.
Just angry at your own uncoordinated ability.
Exactly. But even with that in mind, I loved doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to, you know, move into screen.
Probably find you only need a couple of takes now.
Yeah.
Because you're used to getting it right first time, other than cutting your hand off.
Yes. Well, exactly.
Get a stunt double for that.
I mean, I want to take wonder every time. You should see all my stuff.
Yeah. My first foray into theatre happened a while ago, and we're talking off Broadway. Like we're talking
like Sydney. That's
no,
how off Broadway
no,
it is.
No.
Not that far.
No.
Even
Further. You've got to go
wow.
further.
Yeah.
Picton, like an hour and a half south, south of Sydney.
Yeah.
Has a theatre company that's been going for 30 years and needed to, they wanted to put on a production.
Mm-hmm.
The Odd Couple. I love the movie, love the TV series. A lot of text, but some great scenes and great comedic moments. And I thought, this will be a great test. At least then if I fall off stage, I was playing Felix, at least if I fall off stage and burst into flames or something, you know, no one's going to notice. This is just me finding my legs, seeing if this is actually where I want to go. Can I do it? Will I fall into a ball of nerves and curtains open and I'm in the fetal position crying?
Yeah.
Or will I really enjoy it? It was a challenge for me to get off book before we started.
Yeah.
Because it's massive. Because it's really Felix and Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
But to get most of the way before we started, because I sort of had found someone else, they dropped out, and then here comes Maxi.
Yeah.
So it was like, we're rehearsing tomorrow. So like, I had like a week, I think. And so you're not going to get off book on a play like that in a week, right? But I got most of the way on some scenes, so that I felt a bit more comfortable, because remember, this is the first time, really.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was still nervous as all hell. And I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed being able to try different things on stage, being faithful to the characters and the script, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's certain scenes where you can play around a little bit, where there's a lot of action happening. And I found that really cool, and I could do that with a bit more confidence because I sort of knew what I'd say, so it's like, that helps. And what the character needed to do in that scene. But opening night, though, I wasn't even nervous opening night. But I was in the wings in between acts, and I get a text message from Emma going, one member of the audience has fainted. Everyone's a critic, right? You know,
Okay, so it was because of your acting?
Well, immediately I've gone, what did I do? And then I'm like, I couldn't have made someone, come on. It's not like I'm a German officer spraying blood in the front row. But the average age of the audience was fairly old, to be kind.
Okay.
It was very old. And obviously the first act was really full on of The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
And so she's fainted. And literally Emma's gone to help. And a couple other people have come around to try and help her up. Well, I've got no idea. So we're just going.
Yeah.
But apparently it was 5 to 10 minutes of a bit of a kerfuffle as they try to drag out the...
During the show?
Yeah, while I was on in the first act, during the first act, at least I took everyone's mind off it by continuing as Felix.
Yeah.
But probably didn't need to know it either.
Yeah.
Before Act 2.
Oh no, yeah.
But anyway, it's alright. I was looking, there was a few moments where I was sort of looking at the audience going, well, you know, is everyone else okay? The rest of them made it through. I don't even know if she came back. But, you know.
No, they're faking because you're that good. Not because they're
That's it.
Shit.
That's it.
It's because they think it's that good.
Put that on my CV. Put that on my star now.
What, make
Put that everywhere.
people faint?
IMDb. I reckon, I wonder if I could get an IMDb credit
Under
for
special
Picton Theatre
skills.
Company.
Under special skills, you say. I can cause people to faint at will.
Connecting with the
From
audience.
acting.
That was me establishing that I could do it. That's
Yeah.
great. I've auditioned for a couple of, the profit share ones.
Yeah.
I auditioned for a couple of those. I mean, it's a commitment, isn't it? Like, it's all the weeks of rehearsal.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm in one of them now. It's a new musical. It's called 3 Weeks in Spring. State Theatre, 13th and 17th of August. Everyone come join. Use the podcast as a platform to
It all helps.
advertise it. It's called 3 Weeks in Spring, completely new Aussie musical about the Anzacs. They realised that they could augment the cast very late, but I got in, which was awesome. It's a profit share, but you never know. Like my agent got sent the contract before me, obviously, and sent it to me and was like, these contracts aren't usually very good, blah, blah, blah. They're not up to industry standards, and you don't get much from this stuff. But if you want to do it, I'm happy. And I'm like,
good for your experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a opportunity for your development.
Exactly. But, you know, I get after tax,
After they pay their expenses and all the bills that they have to pay, it comes down to the actors.
The ambulances, for all the painting, all that stuff.
I'm sure you won't spray blood and no one will faint in the production.
No, let's hope not.
Break a leg. But just in case.
Not actually.
It helped that the director, by the way, was a paramedic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, really?
It's not about me right now. It's about the musical. So
at the State Theatre, the 17th of August, 2019.
But it's good to stay open to these opportunities. Okay, you know you're not going to make $1 million out of it, but hell, it'd be a great experience. Something good for the CV.
Oh yeah.
And you've got to get out there.
Or West End, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's the dream.
Yeah. And you've got to start somewhere.
Exactly, but you don't. It's true. You don't get nearly as much money in theatre as you do screen. Like the career is in screen. You shouldn't limit yourself, especially this early.
No, exactly, and because you're all about
especially
getting experience.
After 20 years.
I was performing nearly every other day in the corporate world.
Yeah.
You can't. One rule was you can't cry when you negotiate with Woolworths. It won't work. Mm-hmm. Trying to bring corporate reads to life. That's one thing with voiceovers. Okay. I'll tell you that the corporate experience has helped. Apart from a whole chunk of life experience, meeting some very interesting and odd people who are leaders just because the title says so, but they're not really. Leading, that's quite exciting. Lots of stories there, but that's a whole other podcast. But I digress as I do. Yeah, no, so good. It helps me to bring corporate reads to life. Like I was doing one the other day for a German company. They already had the video in German, nuts and bolts, and I had to make the nuts and bolts sound really engaging. This is their business.
That phrase, nuts and bolts.
Well, the script was based around their business, which was nuts and bolts.
Right.
And how passionate their employees are, how engaged, all the cool corporate stuff that as a client you want to hear, right? Yeah. They've been there forever, they're not going away, they make good stuff, they love quality, their employees are all happy high-fiving like a Google office, you know? Like they don't have any KPIs, they just walk around smiling and everything's fine, all those segues to amazing people looking amazing, doing amazing things, okay? And then my voiceover has got to sound engaging, but it can't sound all radio promo, you know? Because that's not corporate, that's going to zero credibility. So you've got to be authentic, credible, but you can't be boring as batshit because some of the reads are so dry. Like they're writing it as a corporate committee, going, we need to say this, say that, and say this. Yeah. And let's put a few words together. Okay, that's great. No, let's change. You know, it's already passed through so many hands. So it's not like you can change it all, but some of them are more of a challenge than others to make it sound interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're not always writing it with the voiceover in mind. No. Certainly not with the voiceover talent in mind. So it's like.
And they're all corporate.
Yeah, this is what we want to hear. So make it so. But having been through the corporate machine, at least it helps me sort of go, okay, who's the audience? Is it just an internal thing? Is it for a conference? Is it external on the social and corporate site? Yeah. You know, then you sort of know where your energy needs to be and once you know who you're talking to. But anyway, I've learned a lot about nuts and bolts.
Right. Well, that's good.
Some of them are good, some of them are fun. Like there was one, it's like a startup, but you know they're already turning over millions of dollars in crisis software and crisis management. So it's kind of like not where you want to have too much fun and jest and that, because it's about helping people and organisations and governments when shit is hitting the fan. But they wanted this kind of relaxed, fun kind of tone to it. Look, I gave them what was written, and then I gave them a little bit more. It's kind of taking it down a corporate notch, a bit more relaxed and relatable. Yeah, okay. Like I'm sort of talking with someone rather than I'm lecturing you on how good I am. Sometimes they don't know what they need or what they want to hear until they've heard it. So voiceovers is working quite well. And I find myself now too when I'm on set, I've got this whole other level of freedom because I haven't done a lot of voice work. When I'm on set, I can how I deliver the line. I can really find myself playing with it a lot, and it helps when you don't have many lines. Yeah. And you've got to be really engaging in the moment. And so I find myself rather intuitively falling back on this voiceover sort of experience. Yeah. Which helps to make it just a bit more interesting when you've got, you know, a handful of lines or something.
But that's the thing with voiceovers, like I've wanted to get into voiceovers for like a couple of years now.
And it's gonna be hard because your voice sounds like crap.
And that's it, guys. Thanks for this. Yeah. But no, I've always wanted to do like different characters, and I love kind of doing impressions and stuff like that. I'm not very good, but I've loved doing it.
That's a start.
Yeah, and the dynamic voice idea, changing your voice, all that tone stuff. Yeah. And you know, learning standard American accent, like doing actual classes with that. Yeah. Has helped me like fall in love with kind of how the voice works and where it sits and where accents sit and how the tongue moves and all that stuff. So that's really cool, and I've always wanted to do that. But the thing is, it's a catch-22 because no one's going to hire you for voiceover jobs unless you've done voiceover jobs.
Yeah, so I'll tell you how I started. I just manufactured a resume that didn't. No.
Yeah.
With my self-tapes, I use my phone, but I use a directional mic, a little Rode directional mic. It's like $90, and so I can pick up more of my voice, not the readers. I found a couple of online platforms because I used to do radio. I did 5 years of radio. I was sitting down doing, it was my last lesson or so with Paige Walker, studying my standard American, and she's like, well, you cold read well, you've done radio, like, why don't you do voiceovers? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I couldn't connect those two obvious dots myself, so...
You're an actor, you need guidance.
I need a script. So, and detailed instructions.
Yeah.
So there I was on an online platform, signed up, or helped with Paige to put a few scripts together, and I went and did a professional voiceover demo. So the engineer would get you in there, give you a bit of feedback, so you get through all your scripts.
Yeah.
And then their job is to put it all together in a nice flow, make it engaging right at the start, because sometimes they're not going to listen all the way through, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and put the right music beds behind it, and effects, and really, finesse the editing that I could never do, even having unlimited time.
Yeah.
Then I could split that up, and I could have different demos for different things, like a corporate read, a radio ad, an upbeat engaging read, lots of stuff. So different variety, and I put that on the online platform, and then I was doing reads with my little Rode directional. We're talking an industry where people pay like $1,000 for the top, condenser mic. It's amazing. Have these whisper rooms, these $10,000 booths that are fully soundproof and stuff. And here I am with my Rode directional, just trying, right? But you got to try. I had to work a bit harder, both on how I delivered and also in the editing and post, how I'd sort of finesse it a bit. And then I was booking jobs. I was sending auditions away, and of course...
Just like what, you didn't have an agent?
Through an online, I still don't.
What was it? You still don't?
Through a voices.com, it's heavily geared towards American, but a lot of Australian content. The jobs were quite big. Initially, I had a couple of big ones, so I'm like, I just cannot do another voiceover with my $90 Rode and get $1,000. Like, that's not right. So I went and invested my last voiceover job into the right microphone, the right USB interface, and that allowed me to deliver it at another level, and just helps you unlock all these other jobs that you couldn't get because they really want studio quality and I wasn't quite there. And I haven't had anyone say it doesn't sound good enough. Go to a studio. Because the whole idea is that they're saying it's probably last minute. Like some of them have done Visa, Microsoft, some decent names, but they might need something internal, something quick, something fast, and they don't want to pay a studio fee. They haven't got a budget. It might be last minute.
So you have to send it in.
Yeah, so I'm recording it. I hope to do less in post now, and just it makes it quicker on the auditions and quicker to give them a nice file. I mean, I edit out breaths and things. So it's edited a bit, and then engineers just drop it straight into the production. So it's great. They'll say, I want neutral accent, neutral English, general American, or not heavy British, or something like that. So they're not asking for an Australian accent. Out of 50, they'll just get this random guy called Max with an Australian accent.
Yeah.
But, you're obviously not Ocker. You're not going to go all Ocker, mate. Yeah. But when they hear it, and if you manage to capture the emotion that's in it, for example, I find myself in a better position to capture those jobs. Yeah. Because you, as an actor, like you're connecting to whatever emotion you need to hear, you substitute and connect with that. And that's in your mind as you're reading, I'm talking to this person, or I'm talking in this moment, or from this perspective, and it helps get this emotional connection so I can sort of bring the words to life in the right way. It's great to know it's working. It's like I've been to some casting directors a number of times. There's one I've been to 6 times. Oh, yeah. For TVCs. Okay. I haven't got one through them.
It's weird. Like, I've done a similar thing, not 6 times to the one, but like been to this one, or a couple, more than once. And you just, like, if you don't get roles to them, you feel like, do they just hate you or something?
Oh my god. But the fact that they keep
like
asking
they
you
get your name, but they remember your face. So, after you come back, that you walk in the room, and they're like, shit. Yes, do your audition.
It's okay, though. What I've learned is, the fact they keep asking for feedback is they know you can do it. Yeah. They're happy to put you in front of the client. And sometimes you get a callback, and it's, the client sends some feedback. So if you weren't walking in with your head straight, and you weren't doing it properly, they're going to ask you back. So at least it's a seal of approval that you're great. But, it could come down to, here's the final 5 that they put forward to the client. The client goes, oh, that person looks okay, that one, I can't see fitting the brand, or we used someone like that before, or, you're dealing with people.
Well, that was funny, because when I got my first agent, which was around 12, 13, I got my first audition that they got me, so I thought I was top shit. I thought I was like,
and this is what's like
this
normally,
is easy.
yeah.
We're gonna do this all the time. But it was just like beginner's luck. So
Lucky bastard, by the way.
I walked in and I got, so it was a Foxtel commercial.
Oh, well
So
done.
it was kind of a big one because it was Foxtel.
Yep.
Big
budget.
So well paid, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 13. I was in it for 3 seconds. Got paid $2,000. Pretty good for that age.
Yep.
No lines, nothing, blah blah blah.
You're on set. There's a huge crew.
It was awesome. Like
catering.
for lunch was blue-eye cod.
Yeah. See, I was
like,
just saying catering. It's like it's great, isn't it? It's amazing.
Exactly. But it was cool, and because it was Foxtel, it was like very, very, very professional. Like I leant over to my co-star and I said, I'm really thirsty. And next thing I knew it, like water was in my hand. And someone brought me some water.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It was awesome. And then they're like, lunchtime blue-eye cod. Let's go have some blue-eye cod, which was
It's
whatever.
ridiculous. I have to say, the catering's amazing.
Oh yeah, catering on set always.
The bigger the budget, the better the catering. But like, even when I was doing in the mid-90s as an extra, like one production was The New Adventures of Flipper, and I was a marine biology student for 4 years, which is probably longer than real marine biology students, but nonetheless, I sort of had it.
You were struggling marine biology.
You know, I could look through that microscope like I really was looking at something instead of the dust particles. You know, but oh my god, yeah. Well, that was about, I think it was about 1.5, 2 million an episode. It's like that's the budget a week. For this production. So Jessica Alba was in it, and other. Well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Obviously, I remember Jess. She was like 16. I'm like 18. Like that was and she was really nice, by the way, which is great. Everyone was really nice, and it was just this really cool environment. It was nice and chilled. But lunch, oh my god! I remember telling my mum. Even when I said to my mum that I'm actually forgetting all of our corporate back into acting, first thing she says was, "Oh, that's great. You always did love the food."
Yeah.
So, hope you've enjoyed the first podcast. We're going to pump out these podcasts once a week, every Thursday afternoon. Follow us on social, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Ask us questions, interact, listen out, because we'll tell you when we're going to have the next podcast available. And YouTube as well. So, thanks for spending time with us this week. We'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. See you guys.
To unemployed actors.